Very well, the defendant will amend his testimony.
Just one little press.
Get a little closer to him.
Just like the button.
And I've got myself a whole new testimony.
The miracles of modern science.
This one you have to say.
I plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon.
Silence?
The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law, just a lot of it.
But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage.
And it's your job to turn that around in our favor, yes?
Great, like I didn't have enough to do already.
Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony?
Huh? Wait, something he said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing. Now, what was it?
When you figure it out, I'd suggest presenting evidence. Evidence that contradicts the testimony.
A contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony? But why? I'd better check the court record. I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony.
Isn't it a little early to be jumping to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press...
Get to third base.
Right, I got it. I'm fine. Now time to listen to that testimony again.
Again.
So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon? This grape juice bottle? Right?
So I said.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice? Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
But our old one never learned to cut his hair.
What's this, Mr. Payne? I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Virgin shit!
Objection!
No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears. And our case.
But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant?
Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove a thing. If they were normal fingerprints.
Magic fingerprints.
What?
But the fingerprints on the murdered weapon were upside down. Upside down? What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can only be one reason for that. Yes. To brain someone with a bottle.
Mr. Gavin, things just took a turn for the worse.
Oh, I see no problem, Justice.
Huh?
The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court?
I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now.
Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason. Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported? That was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still, that... Really? Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene, by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we?
It's all in your orientation.
The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from ground level. Of course, the cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in the hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor restaurant. I see.
To the blind man.
And this is the phone that made the call. Right, cell phone out of the court record. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet, he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative? Eric?
Nice save, Mr. Gavin. Better not waste this.
Oh, yeah, you will.
I think the prosecution is... No, oops, wrong voice. I think the prosecution has toured of our client enough for the time being. Told, I assure you, no one is more serious about... What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime occurred. How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
Oh, really?
You're as good as they say you are.
So someone else was in the room the night of the crime. That must mean they witnessed the crime.
Everything up to now in a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. The witness will state her name and profession.
In space.
Hold on, just a moment. Where's the witness? I surmise that she's been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horrors.
So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people.
No, don't.
Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this will cut them off. Man, hello there.
You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please come out.
Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor?
Really, really funny.
Well, if you are sure it is okay. That sounds nuts. Okay.
No, nothing.
Russian is good now.
Escape.
Now the prosecution. Wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's paraphernalia?
She smokes 3 times a week.
Yes. She's a professional, Your Honor. These are merely the tools of her trade. And that would be?
My name is Olga Orly.
Oh, really?
I am employed as a waitress in Borscht Bowl Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht at his naming restaurant. But I also perform, how is it said, other service.
I take it one of these other services is taking the customers' pictures.
Like, for example, this one.
That's the defendant? Indeed, on the night of the murder.
Man in red hat is one who has gone kaput.
What's a German word?
Thank you.
Indeed, that is the victim. Order! Order!
Why are you yelling?
This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps.
It is the same way as I drop cold bowl of borscht on laps of customers. Casually.
The court will casually accept this new evidence. Olga's photo added to the court record.
Can we read?
No, apparently I can't. Now, the witness, where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in room, the hideout we call it. Excuse me, the hideout.
I don't know how to say a line.
It is room where famous gangster, that guy, was arrested.
Pub.
It's room where a murder took place. What? You're looking at her surprise. It is lovely. I will post my courtroom door later for you.
Slipping.
Right. I don't know what accent this is. Photos will be numbered and you will write the ones you want a copy of.
Like, yes, in Russian.
I know. So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orly, our witness.
Really? Yeah.
And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means...
Yeah. No way.
Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events.
In space.
That night, customer asked me to deal cards for a game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on, da. The victim, he plays all the time with his hands on lock at his neck. Then, last hand is done. But something terrible has happened, da. The man flew at victim. Is strangling him to death.
Incidentally, who won the game? Isn't it obvious? The winner was victim, Mr. Smith.